Fly so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the world. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Flying with Mike. I just couldn't wait till tomorrow to get a stream going again. I just had to do it tonight. Plus, we had a new Discord member come on board asking a lot of questions about the birds you see on the ramp, the Rotate MD11. And, well, we thought we'd give it a flight tonight and continue our flight we did a couple weeks ago into Denver. Albeit, I think in the 737 or 767. But hey, welcome to Flight Sim. We can blast off in whatever airplane we want. All right, and today, I hope I set this up. I'm going to try. Hey, we're flying with FedEx Virtual. If you want to check them out, FedExVA.org, and they're always looking for pilots. They're really, for the most part, laid back. The biggest requirement, they just like you to know how to fly the aircraft safely. So when you're flying under their colors, you know, with ATC, you get the picture. All right, and that's their biggest thing. And, you know, the normal rules that come along with VAs, so, and all virtual organizations. So, yeah, we're flying for them today. So again, we are sitting on the ramp. Now, we left off with FedEx here in Denver. The flight we were flying was to then continue to Fresno. So what the heck? We just chose to do it in one plane instead of several planes to go from here to there. Found out Fresno appears to be a possible mechanic maintenance hub for FedEx, or one of their maintenance facilities. So, yeah, didn't know that about little old Fresno, California. Or at least it says so on the Google Maps. Now, whether Google's right or not, you all decide. I just report, you decide. So, but anyway, there's the Rotate MD11. So when you come to this plane, folks, we haven't done a thing, so it's going to be a little bit lengthy here in getting started, because I haven't gotten started with it, other than putting a flight plan in. So, We've got our sim brief flight plan departures all set out. So what we're gonna do, let's swing around to the other side and back off a little. And we'll kind of swing the airplane over. Yeah, we're doing this well, actually at about the right time. Usually it is about 6 in the morning for an 8 in the morning arrival over in Fresno. Part of the night sort that came out of Memphis. So just to kind of went from Memphis to Wichita to here on to, actually this flight went, yeah, to Wichita, but it actually went from Wichita to Fresno, not up here to Denver. We kind of threw another stop on it. All right, so we'll come down here to rotate, go to the aircraft menu, and we're going to be, first off, let's do the ground operations. Let's get her on ground power. See the little box show up. And yes, the animation, hey, I'll take it. It works. That's all that matters. And let's see, we'll get the cockpit door opening. As you can see, and that's about probably the right speed. I've seen them when we used to see MD11s. That appears to be right. Now, I'm gonna tell you it's optional if you actually open the cargo door now. It all depends how you want to load the aircraft. You can load it, well, you're gonna have to load it here. But if you click it here, it's just gonna wham, put the load in there. If you just click, let's see. Oh, yeah, if you just do your stuff here, come over here and click load aircraft, it'll do it semi-realistic. And we're going to do it that way. Same with fuel service will be like it should, but don't expect razzmatazz like Tolis and Zebo. But folks, it is a fairly decent aircraft. There's some problems with it. I mean, minor in issues. For me, you all may have no problems with it. There's a couple I have. I'm not going to point them out along the way. I don't think I need to. All right, so before we touch the load manager, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. We're going to bring in Sim Toolkit here. Ooh, they have updated it, folks. 1.20 is out. That was a little delay here, getting that rolling, because I had to first get myself attuned to it, because they changed a few things. So here we go. And so you can already see big change right here. Instead of the nice information we had about our airports, I right now can't find it. And I kind of liked having that there. So whoever of you out there that didn't like that, shame on you, because that was actually very valid information, usable in your FMCs, but because you don't want to go to that level, claiming to be at that level, you got rid of it here? Really? Ooh. Anyway, that's as far as I'll take that. Vent tube closed. Here we go. Let's have fun. It's a wrap up of Thanksgiving week. I hope you all had a great one. I worked out at the airport Wednesday, then Friday, Saturday, and thank God. The most we had to do with this little snowstorm pushing through the Midwest up into, I think it's going up into Canada right now, was alert the airport that, hey, potential for snow coming. So praise God for that one. All right, so we'll and folks, I know I'm missing things here, and but bear with me as we go through here. Let's go to the load sheet. That's what we're mainly after right now anyway. So our payload for today is 172,540 pounds. It was a pretty good load. Zero fuel weight, you can see, is 400, almost 35,000. And it throws the max in. Oh, I see a little bit of what it's doing. Okay. Here's what will be on the ramp once loaded. There's our block fuel. And that'll ramp weight, by the way, is once we load the fuel in too. So that's about 60,279 pounds. And it gives you a quick en route reserve and so forth. We are going to have in that payload figure 18 people. They're signing their non-disclosures right now so that if we do bounce around in the sky and have all the kind of fun sometimes we do, they can't sue us. Non-disclosure. Just kidding, folks. We're going to do it the best we can to as real as I know how to do it. Folks, I'm not a commercial pilot, so. All right, cargo, 169,390 pounds. And there's our ATC route. Basically, taking off 35 left, which is a blessing. That's right as we push back in taxi, boom, runway. Landing 29 left. I think that's a blessing too, but well, any runway's a blessing. But anyway, we'll kind of see. We'll be cruising at 32,000, and our cost index dispatches allotted us, which is actually the standard 200. VOAXA Q136 to Coaldale. Sure, what FRA, but to FRA, and then right on down. So pretty decent route today. We'll be on the Course 6 departure. I haven't fully decided ATC or not. As you can see, one, because it's up, that's one reason. But two, I'm just, with this aircraft, we do run into some altitude issues and a little bit of lateral issues. That's as far as I'm going to get into my negatives with this plane. So I think I may keep us off VATSIM for now. But we'll see as we go along. But yeah, kind of changed. It's a kind of a neat layout, but I really do miss the airport information, as into slopes, headings, altitudes, those things that used to be there. I really miss those because I am one of those that go to page 2 on the FMCs. All right, so let's get Sim Toolkit away. All right, so now let's go back to that rotate aircraft menu. Load manager. All right, now there's a couple little quirks and tricks, however you want to look at it, about this. And I don't know how true to life it really is. But the makers at Rotate, either that's what they had to kind of work with or what they did to make it work. Don't know, but just follow with me here, folks. I really cannot give great explanations on what that little quirk is here in just a second. All right, so first line, total payload. I'm just going to move this to where I can see it better. All right, and I actually wrote this down. Sometimes you have to write it down. 170, actually, you know what? I'm just going to type it in. 172540, enter. We'll come back to this in a minute. Let's get our block fuel in. 60,279. 60279er. And I enter our taxi fuel. Okay, now I am going to leave it up. I'm going to show you where you can hopefully find this quickly. Like I said, I haven't fully dug into the Sim Toolkit, this new release. But I think if I go here, yeah, there it is. Okay, so I am seeing it. So this is your actual flight plan, which if I clicked here, in essence, we'd see a lot of this. We'd have to, a couple things we'd have to click to, but yeah. All right, so we're looking for taxi fuel. There it is, 2,000 pounds. Okay, so 2,000. Now, well, it doesn't say this. It used to, I thought. Oh, here it is. Enter your trip fuel to get your landing weight. So right now you can see where we're bumping up to 425,802. Now let's see first off where we are in relation to the zero fuel weight. Actually, we're a little under. Believe it or not, we're scheduled at 434.77. I'm just going to leave it. How about that? Command decision from the flight deck, just leave it as is. And then we're going to go get our trip fuel, which is 33,465. And again, that is on your flight plan if you set this up through SimBrief. I really don't know how to answer a question if you ask it to me. What do you if you don't have it? Because I've had that a couple times. I really, how to get some of these, SimBrief, folks, is free. So my kind of answer is going to be, you kind of get SimBrief, so it helps you out for the most part. But if you don't want it, I get it, understand it, don't know how you get this. There are other programs out there that you pay for. SimBrief, you don't. Okay, so as you can tell, we're going to be running about 10,000 pounds light, but we're going to keep everything where it's at. One thing left to do, and remember I said we'd come back to it, payload CG. Before I get going any further here, folks, you just check this out. This is the checklist. Somebody put together, if you go to this link at the xplane.org, and they created this in conjunction with the tutorial flight. Okay, so what you read here, now they're going to give you weights and all of that. Feel free. That's what the tutorial flight does. But if you want to do the tutorial, but do it in your own way so you can kind of learn, I find doing it tutorial, you have it there, but then I put my numbers in to get myself more, it helps me get more acquainted with the plane. Okay, so that's your call. All right, so the payload, if you have that checklist, right up in flight preparations, page 1, item number 2, load, item F, payload CG. This part, I've been told, is one of the most critical on this plane. The takeoff CG has to be between 30 and 31%. That's this figure right here. So move your slider either way. Okay, 30, we'll go 30.5. All right. And guess what, folks? You're done. Now you can apply the load to the aircraft in FMC by punching it here. I actually never do. I actually go here, request fuel, request load. And here's where you get the animation. Okay, the fuel, you probably saw the plane bounce loaded. This is the animation. This all you get. To your disappointment will come, and this will be the last critique of the plane. You'll see the cans go in, which that's great. But once the door closes and everything goes away, the cans disappear inside. I have not determined if the weight changes. I don't think it does. So you at least keep the weight. That to me, I wish, and I'm sorry for those of you in that other sim, because I used to fly them. Captain Sim, actually used to love Captain Sim. They're 727, 737 cargo planes, and I think even the 777 would load, I don't know, we'll call it 7 cans. You take a look in the cargo bay, guess what? 7 cans in flight. They don't leave till you unload them. So if you're going to go to this level of animation, take it the next step. It's just, in my opinion, I don't know the graphics behind all of that. So I'm not going to say that's how it should be. No, I'm just going to say it would be nice. So, but anyway, there you go, folks. There's the animation. Now there is a fuel truck back there. We're already fueled up, but we're going to go ahead and continue on with our cockpit prep. All right, we're going to leave everything else out here as is. There we are in the cockpit. Hopefully we won't have to reload the sim like we did the last flight of the before Thanksgiving. So let's do it. Okay, cockpit lighting. We'll get that here in a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's get that after we get some stuff going. All right, so let's get the battery switch on. By the way, folks, look very carefully. I'm gonna give you probably the best lesson in this plane that will help change your opinion of how difficult it is. Think Airbus. Think Airbus. Do not think Boeing. This is not a Boeing jet. This was a McDonnell Douglas jet that Boeing inherited in the buyout. Oh, a lot of McDonnell Douglas mimicked Airbus. And when you start thinking that, your steps begin to make sense. Okay, think Airbus. Think McDonnell Douglas. Don't think Boeing, because if you think Boeing, you'll never learn this plane. All right, so the battery switch is on. We're either going to, we'll do the engine and APU fire checks. I forget where that switch is. Doggone. Oh, there it is. Okay, there was the APU. Now, the heck were the others? Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, let's get on the electrical power. We're going to go ahead, since we put the ground power unit out there, bring it alive. Okay, ground power's on. And bear with me, I think the aircraft's going to be a little noisy. Let's go ahead and turn it down a little. Okay, annunciator light check. This took me a while to find. It's right here, folks. So your switch here's your electrics. Here's your anti-ice. Find your cargo door test. There you go. And you can do a quick kind of, yeah, that's about as best you're going to get. All right. Make sure, again, a dark switch means on, unless it says differently. Think Airbus. Now I go in and work my lights. One, because they make a heck of a lot of sense. And I'm just going to go ahead and blast them all the way. Now these floods, these can get kind of fun. But let's get the rest of our lights on. CGS. I forget which one does those. I know there's another set. Where are you? It's been a little bit, folks. Bear with me. There's another set. Where are they? And while I'm seeing it, let's go ahead. Okay. And I do see another problem we'll point out and explain when we get to that. Because now I just want to get my All right, let's just do the floods. I know there's another switch here and I can't find it right off the bat. Okay, good thing is we're flying in daytime, so I'm not going to worry about it. Just making sure it's not hiding in plain sight. And if you want, go ahead, get rid of this thing. Until you're ready to land, folks, it's really in the way. And you can do your flight. As you can see, it's not too bad, but it's blocking your bottom half of your PFD down here. Okay, so let's continue on. All right, back up to the middle pan, or to the overhead. All right, so now we're headed to the air system. I'm actually going to go ahead and crank up the APU. And we got the avail going. When it stops, we can then bring the bleed air on. But for now, APU air is not on, so we can't IRS to nav. Go ahead and start that. Expect a cargo check now in just a second. Cargo test good. And folks, that's the best you're gonna get here. Test of that, and I know that light is just right in front of me and I can't see it, folks. Oh, that's irritating me. Oh well. All right, so we've got our IRSs aligning now. Emergency power to arm. All right, so we'll do the initial FMC setup. Another thing that's kind of, I don't like when you can't click on them and they pop out 2D. To work with them a lot better. I know this is how the real guys do it. Like I said, I try to go as best I can, as real as I can, as far as I can. It really helps to be able to do this a lot better. Size your window and be able to see it. But it's not the only airplane, folks, so don't think I'm knocking this one. There's a bunch of them out there you can't do this on. So, all right, so we're gonna go to aircraft model MD11. That's correct. Nav data 2 November to 30 November. By the way, that means this week we update, folks. Be mindful of that if you do that. I do. Let's see. Today is 27, I believe. 26. So you got about, I think it's Friday. All right, so let's go to F-plan init. Oh boy, now I gotta, hang on a second. Give me a second here, folks. I did this, I just want to make sure I use, so KDEN. Okay, so it's gonna be KDEN KFAT. Okay, and it has loaded. Now, we don't have to get very into it right now. We actually get it here in a minute while it's still aligning. So the F-plan or co-route, which we just did from to, is correct. And our align position. Now, if you have the charts that can tell you your parking spot, Jepson is a fantastic one. Use them. You can actually increase the accuracy by getting it focused down right about where the plane is. Okay, parking course. Bet you they don't have it. Hang on, let me check. Nope, they don't. Okay. All right, well, okay, so what we'll just do then is initialize IRS and return. That's all we could do. But if you say we were parked up here in the A, B, or C, we could actually go into charts and whatever gate we're in, get the coordinates for it and make sure they match. Find that pretty cool. And then we're basically done for now with the FMCs. We've got pretty much just a couple more things to do. Hydraulic pressure check, comm radio setup. There's where we're going to talk a little bit. Glare shield setup, meaning inches or HEPA, your minimums and your headings and barrows and all of that. Then we'll come in and set it up the rest of the steps. Okay. All right, so let's get up here and do the hydraulic test. Back up here. It even takes me a couple seconds to get reacclimated. That's fuel. So you got your hydraulics up here. Be using this, your electrics here, air here, fuel here. The only difference is fuel in a lot of Airbuses is up here. Think Airbus, folks, you see how this aircraft is beginning to be that. All right, now, remember we started the APU. Okay, it is now on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the bleed on. And we're going to watch our packs come on. We're also going to watch our isolation valves come on. So we are now transitioning to interior power. That came on automatic. We don't have to do anything. But I can do this now, and I can technically go back and get rid of it. Okay. It's no longer available. We are completely on APU. Sorry, folks. Body is still trying to get back to normal from 48 hours of work. We'll try to do it as painlessly as possible. Okay, we came back up here, though, for the hydraulic test. Remember, I pointed it out. I just wanted you to continue to think in your mind Airbus. Once you keep that in mind, a lot of this, you're going to go, oh my God, that is like an Airbus. I sometimes affectionately call it the Airbus 11. Even though it's not, call it that. Hydraulic test, pretty simple. First off, before we do this, let's come back down here. Now you can set these. Currently you have engines and you have, I'm not sure, I think this one is, gotta look at the buttons, either miscellaneous. So what we'll do is put it on hydraulic. And we can actually watch our test. All right, so we're gonna click test on. Basically what it's gonna do is charge our systems. Now the big thing we got to do with this test, where is it at? Verify 5.3 gallons. We're way over that, so we're great there. You're going to see the pressure come on here in a minute. I believe it starts with This system then works over here. Give it a second. There it goes, pressurizing it up. Okay, once it hits 3,000, it's going to make sure it's not leaking, not losing pressure of any kind, and it's going to slowly start dropping it off, and it'll start into these two. Once these get there, it'll start falling off. So everything's testing out great. You could even see valves that were opening and closing right here. And finally, we'll empty out, and there it goes down. I was going to say, once it gets pretty close, it starts falling off. Hydraulic pressure test completed. If I didn't put it back, I'm going to. I always put the covers back on just so it has to be 2 clicks for me to click on them. Okay, otherwise you run into a lot of problems. Okay, so that's your hydraulic test. And it was actually, you would have seen stuff up here that we weren't looking at. We just watched the gauge. Okay, let's go down to the radios. There's a little bit of talk that needs to be done here. We're not going to talk radio etiquette. We're going to talk physical setup. So you know why you're having sometimes the troubles you do talking to VATSIM, IVAO, Pilot's Edge in this plane. It's usually right here, and I'm going to bring it up. All right, here's the X-plane client X-Pilot for VATSIM. I don't know if it works for IVAO. Don't fly on IVAO, so I can't answer questions there. You notice anything on there that looks weird? Right now, if you were to pick up the radio, talk to Denver, whatever is here, they'll hear you. They won't hear, you won't hear them. Okay, right up here in the top where you see COM1 22.8 TX, you see how it's bold, and then right below it with 21.5, it's not so bold. You want both TX and RX bold. Yeah, I know I'm talking mainly to the new VATSIM folks, but you know what, folks? I had over 10,000 hours on VATSIM. Look me up. You can find out I'm not BSing. I did not know about this. And another thing, I'll show you that one. Me and a controller on the other thing, well, it won't happen on this one. It would be on the Airbus. But I'll kind of walk you through it, because that was about an hour and a half long. I'm not going to call it an argument, but I was getting pissed off at him. All right, so listen carefully, because you can get very frustrated very quickly over something very simple. That's the part that I was really embarrassed about at the end of all of this. Okay, to make this bold RX, just the one for 122.8, we really don't need to worry about COM2 and VATSIM. Real world, whole different game. This is not the real world. Please do not try to use this in the real world. And real world commercial pilots doing so, you're on your own. So, all right, very simple to make this bold. Come down here to your nav radios. Okay, I'm going to zoom in now. All right, and you all should be able to see. Matter of fact, I can see what I need to. Okay, you see how this is lit up? That's how TX is lit up. And the problem is VHF2 is lit up, but I don't know why it's not highlighted. Okay, I don't know that answer. So let's get RX available. All you had to do is click right here, and then what I recommend, turn them up all the way. And then if you want to play with it while he's blasting your ears out to turn him down, go right at it. Realize could miss transmissions. Okay, so again, watch. Push it in. It went out. Pull it up. Folks, that'll save you so much grief and in the air going, why can't I connect? I am connected, blah, 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 blah. I've been doing this right. Oh, no, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like I said, it's so simple. It'll embarrass the living crap out of you. If you don't believe me, hang on. Watch TX for COM2. Now you can receive, you just can't transmit, which I think is a good thing. Now this can turn bad in another way. Sorry about that, folks. Say you run this way. Okay, that's great. A lot of people will actually go over here, flip-flop, put 2295 over. That's fine. That's another Unicom channel. Nothing wrong with that. All of a sudden, you'll start picking up an ATIS. You can't figure out why. And lo and behold, it's right here. A lot of times, if you just keep it on 121.5, you're fine. And you can run with both of them to here. Remember, you won't be able to voice transmit. Plus, I'm not even sure. I think you have to set up a key to be able to use COM2 as well. I am not very savvy with the X-Pilot, folks. Yes, I said I had 10,000. Well, Captain, you should know it inside and out. No, not really. I really don't want to use it that much. Like I said, I'm not even sure we're going to be on VATSIM because of other little issues that crop up that I'd like to get fixed before running into issues with because it'll sometimes start porpoising and you got to kind of work it to make it level. And that's where I sometimes err on not going online with this plane. Okay, it's nothing against Denver, nothing, well, it is a lot against a couple of ARTCs we're not going to mention that I don't fly on. I've already told the chiefs I will not fly. I will disconnect as soon as you come up. I will not fly on theirs, and it's between me and them and not you guys. So, and I have offended them, and they've offended me too. So it's really a nasty little thing between them. So I have chosen not to, a lot of times, be online when they're up. So, but anyway, long story short, don't want to get into it, don't want to ruin. Great Sunday, no need to get, all, negative here. I want to keep this as positive as possible, especially since we've been 40 minutes on the ground. I want to get in the air too. But I really wanted to get into this. Now, the transponder. This one, you don't have a whole lot of switches like the Airbuses do. And you can go, thank God that part of Airbus did not come over to this. Although for the most part, the gauge did. Okay. You're going to have to do two things. Make sure the auto, which in this loose nut behind the wheel's brain thinks that means it's on. No, it's not. You got to actually turn it on. That was all I had to do. So again, with X-Pilot, to avoid that argument, make sure mode C, that you see green up here. You see it kind of flickering a little. That's because my mouse is over it. You can't see it. Make sure it's green. And then you'll not upset the controller because, we're not allowed to do that. They can upset us anyway. Um, they'll be in their happy spot and they won't argue with you, even though you're showing TARA down here on your monitors, everything, you know. But if that isn't green, they are not happy campers. They will not. Oh my gosh, get ready for a fight. So that's why I wanted to spend a little time here. It's not MD11 specific, although you saw a couple things that could be. This is Airbus, this is Boeing, all of them. Make sure your client, whatever you're using, has your transmit receive capability highlighted like you see here, or however it needs to be. Otherwise, you will not be able to transmit, you will not be able to receive. And again, if you look at my example right here, I will not be able to transmit on 21.5, but I will be able to hear you if you talk on it. Capiche? All right, let's move on. Okay, so we did the comm radio setup. Now it's time for the glare shield. What is the glare shield? Oop, went too high. It's right here, folks. It's right what's in the middle. And for this, we're going to actually pull back a little. So basically, we're going to make it. This one took me a little bit, folks, to figure out what the heck am I doing wrong. All right, folks, we're in the U.S., so we're in inches. If you're in Europe or everywhere else in the world that's not in inches, which just about everybody else isn't, you're in HP. The button's right here. Oh yeah, that took me a long time to find. I have not figured out the Barrow set. As you just saw, I do not get this, other than I think it's the meters. Hang on, let me see if I can't make heads or tails more of it. I think it allows you to see your altitude in meters. So like when you're flying in Germany, I'm sorry, strike that, Russia, China, areas in that area of the world, you have to be in meters. And it helps you to know when you set 5260 here, 5260 is 1600 meters. And that's how they flight level 160. Granted, you wouldn't be that low, but you get the point. All right, I didn't know that. All right, let's bounce back. So we'll put that back to Q and H. All right, and then we'll set our information. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of XPilot. Let me do a quick check here on SkyVector. Current altimeter. You know what? I'm going to show you a way you can do this. If you do use NavGraph charts, this is the standalone chart version, okay? This is when you download it. You have all your information plugged in, so it knows it's you, and you've paid your little extra on your FMC bill. Bing. You get all these neat charts. That's the parking for Concourse B here in the coordinates. All right, neat thing now that came with it. Right here is these weather not used. What did that mean? Huh. Anyway, if a ATIS is out, say, well, we know Denver is up and alive, okay? Most likely they've put an ATIS out there, Air Terminal Information Service. Basically, it's an hourly update, folks, letting you know the basic weather in the area, runways in use, and any other hazards or special information. This time of the year to include braking actions. It's called FICON. 555 is a really good one. 111, get ready for a slip sliding down the highway. So, and it can vary because basically the first number is your touchdown, the middle is your midfield, the last one's your rollout for the runway in use. So if you're that Joe six-pack pilot, well, the winds say I should be landing from the north to south, but they say I should be landing south to north. Huh. Well, you know what? It's reversed on you. But it's technically you're supposed to land. That's why they're set up. But hey, Joe Sixpack, enjoy your flight. You are in chorus country. All right, so for today, our ATIS is 1 hour, 12 minutes old. I don't like, let's see what the real is. Okay, here's actually at Denver right now. Okay, arrivals, you got runways here for departures. Oh, they flip-flopped on us, folks. I had a feeling they might. Oh boy, did they flip-flop on VATSIM? Usually, no, they did not flip-flop on VATSIM yet. I had a feeling they were going to. Just had a feeling. Now we have a long taxi. Unless I go with VATSIM. Sometimes they kill me. Anyway, this is for departures. And then your arrivals are here. We are at departure. So, a few clouds at 20,000 feet. Oh boy. Oh, that could be scary. Temperatures -3. 30, 10. Hey, there's our altimeter. 30, 10. And now I am going to get rid of this because it is in the way. All right. Again, I like pop-ups. 30, 10. Sorry about that, folks. Did not mean to get you dizzy. I just wanted to make sure we're popping up right. Okay, next up, we want to check that our minimums. I'm going to use RA. Is that RA? No, that's Barrow. It's right here. You're going to see RA or Barrow. Barrow means the actual level above the ground. So here, 400 feet would be 5,820 feet-ish. I'll use RA and will be 400. All right, and there we go. So at 400 feet, it's going to tell me, and that's when we can institute turns. Okay, next up, your nav display. That's this one. Should say heading mag. Arrow sets Q and H. Altimeter set to current. Bank angle. Okay. It's right here. You see these numbers around the auto and all of that? How I do this, I get above it, kind of bend down, get above it. You're looking for that. See that little indentation there in this inner knob? If it's on auto, guess what? You're on auto. Whatever that's on is what you're going to get limited in your bank. Okay? So be watching for that. And that, folks, is it for now. We did check over here. Everything's good. So let's come down and start working on the rest of our flight plan. Okay, flight number, FedEx. (522). Oh, dummy. Flight numbers there. Okay, Next up, altitudes. Haha. We know it's flight level 320. What I don't know are our temperatures and winds with this. So I'm just going to click. Okay, there it is there. Optimum max, all of that. CI 200. Oh, I know what I was saying wrong here. Okay, it's going to put your temperatures in that here. Okay, up here you're putting, say like we're going from Denver to Stansted in Europe, over there in the UK. There's going to be at least a couple step climbs. You can put those in here. So you can start your next one, your next one, your next one. All you would do is 320/340/360/ what, you get the point. And that would load it in. That was what I did wrong there. I have yet to fly this thing that long. All right, and then we're going to get our, okay, we've got the temperatures set. I'm not even going to go in and try and get the real stuff. It's just sometimes too complicated. So we'll let it pop this way. Although I could. Let me try, if it doesn't take too long, stand by. All right, so our cruise winds are 289 at 32. So we're going to have a headwind of 28. Don't have a temperature yet. Give me a second. Looks like -50. All right, so we can do that. And what I'll do is use the, put the slash in there. I'll use the tutorial information. I think it's going to actually be pretty close. All right, and then we don't have to worry about the optimal. It's not telling us any of that. 200. All right, now we go to F plan. Now, if you remember, and I am going to bring the chart still up. Oh, it still is. Dang it. Well, for me, that's actually a good thing. In this case, bad thing for you all. Sorry. All right. So we're at Denver. Here is our routing. Kind of hard to see across the top, but you can see Q136 working its way across, okay? These are at Elf, Weeman, Maynard, and so forth, okay? We got to start here. So, Sid, think Airbus, folks. Can't stress that enough. All right, let me show you something. All right, so, why did I say 17 left? Oh, 3-5 left is what I said. Oh boy. Yeah, they really are. It's really a direct cross. We're going to go 3-5 right still. We just won't be online to upset everyone. 3-5 left, actually. Yeah, 3-5 left. Okay. Now we're going to go on the Coors 7 out here to VOAXA. All right, so as you read it, we're going to take off runway 35 left, Coors 6 departure, VOAXA transition. See what I meant? Think Airbus. It really loads up a lot like it. And now we can double check. So 35 left. We're going to do our climb out, direct foams, direct eye pile, direct Moslin, direct built. Coors, VOAXA, and then on our course to FRA, and then we're confronted with a flight discontinuity. Let's close, and we do not have any SID star or stars into here. Okay, and we can confirm that there's one arrival available. TTE. Where in the heck did it center us? But anyway, it is not applicable, so we'll cancel. And what we are going to do is look at the 29 left setup. Sorry for the sniffle there, folks. Let's again take a look. Here's that FedEx area that I mentioned. Okay. So if we come in 29 right, we'd actually do better than the left, only because it helps us over here. But either way, we can roll off to here and back taxi to it. Okay, so with all of this in mind, now let's get rid of that and let's look at these. Okay, for 29 left, all we have are RNAVs. So what I'm going to do is again cancel. Go in here. We're going to set up and add 29 right now as our runway. Looking at pilot's edge, 29 left and right are in use. Okay. All right, so let's go approaches now. A whole bunch come into line. So if we fly the yellow, what's yellow? TACAN. We're not going to fly TACANs. If we fly the ILS Yankee from Frey, we're going to come down. We'll have to do a procedure turn to come in. Let's look at it. Here we are coming in from Friant, VOR, to Sango. In order to make the turn, we're going to have to do a procedure turn. So continue and hook around to come in on the ILS. That's what we're going to do. By the way, alternate is Los Angeles. And when we did that, look at that. All of a sudden, it shows you what we're doing. And then also our missed approach, I believe, takes us up here. We'll get into that when it's time to brief. So, all of that said and done, let's go to FAT. Star 29 Yankee. Hang on, let me just look at Zulu. Approach. Are we FAT? Okay, 2929. Yankee, do we have a Zulu? Well, that's the high ILS, so that's for if they have fighters. Okay. All right, so we'll do with what we're doing, the Yankee. Position up to the brand. I do not, we're good. Insert. And again, it just filled it in. See, it's got us in the hold here at Sango. Story, and then end. There you go, folks. You got your flight plan. Continuing it on, there's our missed approach out to Nevi. And that is the end. Okay. Very simple approach setup here, folks. But we'll keep things as is. We're going to go off 3-5 left. All right, and that kind of helps with our briefings. Okay, so we did our insert. We inserted our star. We inserted our SID. Cleared discos. If so, let's make sure. Okay. Well, I will. Really don't know how it's going to work this. We'll have to see it in flight. But I will fly it to get us on the ILS. Okay, no discontinuities. Okay, finishing this up. Now, let's go to takeoff. Oh, you know what? I did not start. Dang it. Top Cat. All right. Well, we're going to set Top Cat up with you. All right, so let's get Top Cat. Now, why I do this? I kind of use it as a backup tool. All right, it's a payware item, part of the professional flight planner package. It just helps me with V speeds to see how this does. All right. Just put your airports in real quick. And if you want, you can put it in. I will just for. And then you got 18 people. It's not letting you. So you're going to need to bring this up to your 0 fuel weight. You don't know it? Should be right here. 425,805. That's close enough. All right, now we also get our fuel. We did 60, 279. Taxi, if you remember, was 2,000. Trip fuel, right up there, folks, 33,465. Drop to 0. All right, now, I know you didn't see a lot of where I pulled it, but I just got it right from the load manager. Okay, so we're filled in here. CGs are pretty good. They're going to probably be close to what we have. So let's go to takeoff. Denver, 35 left. And let's update the weather. Probably going to say we have a tailwind. We'll take it. Packs on, takeoff normal. Flap configuration optimal. This is where it gets fun. I am going to run with engine ice because it is cold. Now, if you had any MELs, I don't know if we have any. There you go. If any of those are in play, it'll affect your takeoff or landing. So, but we don't, so we'll keep it clear, compute. You could also lengthen or shorten the runway depending on the real conditions and what you're told. All right, so here we go, folks. This is what we're shooting for. Normal takeoff, flap 15. Now this is going to be strange to you when we get to setting the flaps. Just keep all of this in mind. Let's go to takeoff approach. Okay. We are looking at a flex of 43. What have I been saying all along? Think Airbus. That's Airbus terminology, folks. Okay. Then over here, what I want you to look at is, I'm getting to the takeoff. Okay, so flex, flaps. Where were flaps? Okay, flaps show 15. Go ahead and tuck that in. Okay, and then from here on, it's a lot like everything else. We don't have a slope. Well, actually we do. It's down 0.5. So that's information, guys, over at some toolkit I do use. Let's try. Maybe I'll get it right. Tail. Oh, one. Can we do it? How would they say? Okay, outside air temperature. -3. All right. Yeah, we didn't get V speeds. What did I forget? Got something. All right, well, we're going to punch them in, see what happens. 146, 163, 171. I've actually never had this happen. Thinking it's because this did not load. I know why. I know why we didn't do page 2. Why did I miss page 2? Oh, I did. I skipped right over it. It was under the init page. Okay. Now we'll go back. Now this will fill in like it should. 150, I'm good with all these numbers, just so you know. Okay, there we go. And the rest of it, 4315. State trim 4.1, we'll set that. There you go, folks. That's what I forgot. I had forgotten a step. And I was trying to figure out why this didn't load. And that would have been a problem. Right, we confirmed V speeds, 161. Everything else works out good. 171 is V2, but so hang on just a second, folks. All right, folks, sorry about that. Just had something bugging the crap out of me I had to fix. All right, so we're set to go. We've got our MD, yes, MD programmed. Over here, what I'm going to do is bring it up, park it on flight plan. And then we're going to continue on and get this plane ready to fly because we've been on the ground. I told you it was going to be a while. We took an hour and 15. We're going to try and go now. All right, so continuing with my flight plan. Again, if you're interested in the flight plan I'm using, it's over at this. Click on that link and it'll take you over to the xplane.org. Right to it, and you'll be able to see it and use it. It goes hand in hand with the tutorial that comes when you purchase the MD11. All right, so when you purchase it at the store there at X-Plane, you get this tutorial flight. You don't get the checklist, but this checklist goes hand in hand with it. All right, so let's move up, get that middle panel set up. All right, so we need to get our speed, which is good. We need to get our heading set to runway heading. All right, real quick, runway 35 left is 353. Our initial altitude, folks. If you don't mind, charts real quick. We'll do a quick departure. Brief one more time. That was my bad. All right. We're going off. Okay, first off, we're going to basically push back face east, come out alpha, take off 35 left, we'll be offline. Okay. At that point, we'll switch into the course 6 departure, and basically we're going to climb on a heading of 353 at 5934. Climbing left turn, direct foams. At or below 10,000 feet. Then from then on, we'll be at or above. So then we'll track to IPAIL, 12,000. IPAIL to Moslin, then on to Built, then on to Coors, then on to our transition, which is VOAXA. And we can expect higher than 23,000 10 minutes after departure. So we'll hopefully not have any issues getting out. Up here, transition, of course, 18,000. You have to have your DME, IRU, or GPS. It's an RNAV1, jet only, and 4 takeoffs on these, which basically is all of them, minus 26 and 27. I'm sorry, 26 and 09. Okay, those are the only runways they do not cover. All right, and that's our departure brief. So I am going to set for flight level 320. Sorry, folks, I'm just going to go straight up. And it will get fun as we start trying to use all of this lovely stuff. Believe me, I always have some troubles. And this is why I hope our, what's his, hang on a second. That's why I hope Ant Aviation, who joined us yesterday with a couple of questions about this plane, I hope you're tuned in so you can see them live. Otherwise, this will be on YouTube here shortly, and hopefully then I can go back and answer your questions. So, and I'll try to start picking them up here in a minute, because we're just not there yet. All right, so what do you say we start up? last thing we have to do is set up our ND. So it is telling us CA and FO traffic. Okay. Data. That makes sense. Going to show you what you need restrictive wise. VOR1. VOR2. Now it says to click this. Technically we should have, so the radar is off. I don't think it works. Just me. I don't know how to turn on terrain radar. Would love to have it. Same thing over here. Traffic data, VOR, VOR. And I will turn that off. Now you can increase your range, which I'll do over here. I'll keep it at 20 for now over here. Increase, decrease. You can also increase, decrease your TCAS. Actually, I think I just did. All right, so we're ready to start up, folks. Bear with me a second as I get ready here. All right, so parking brake shows on. Now this airplane, I tried setting a parking brake key. It doesn't seem to work, so it's right here. You'll just click the down and it'll move. We're ready for it. Okay, seatbelts. Let's get up here now. Let's get this plane ready to go. Seatbelts on. No smoking's on. Beacon on. Wait a minute. We're not done yet. Get out here. There's a problem. Got a door open. Let's go ahead and finish this up. Back to ground ops. Let's go ahead and close the cockpit door. And dismiss the stairs. Now you can open all of these doors again on your own, folks. Just make sure they're closed. And go ahead and dismiss the chocks. And at the same time, I'll better push back in here. Be careful with it, folks. Sometimes
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I just do simple pushbacks with it. Don't try to get funny with it because it may go squirrely.
Ground to cockpit. Tower's driving up.
Other aircraft I use, I will do some pretty funky things with it. Just know it does have a built-in pushback as well. Okay, so while we're waiting on her, the beacon's on. Let's see, beacon. Again, off would be showing if it's off. Okay, so they're on. Emergency lights arm. You're going, wait a minute, what about up here? I have that armed already. Doors and windows closed and locked. Fuel panels auto, and it is. Air panel auto. Oh, that's up here.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed.
Pushback. She's
Ready
doing her
to
thing.
connect.
Ox pump 1. If I am not mistaken, that is right here. Turn it on. Transponder. Go ahead and put it on. TARA. Even though we're not going to be on VATSIM. Okay, now up top here, select A or B. I use the simplest way since I don't fly it often. Even days will be B, odd days will be A. APU air on, and it is.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
And parking brake, and we'll start them number 3 first, and number 1, then the middle one, number 2. Okay, parking brake coming off. Up, folks, sorry. Up.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Engine start, remember? Think Airbus. Think, well, to a point. Here's where it's slightly different, but you're going to see the simplicity to it. Engine 3. Light. On. And I did it early. My bad. Should go right into... Should have waited till it got to the line 15 and then done it, but oh well. Here it comes on. You can see us turning up in the very top of the windscreen. See how it's starting to get a little squirrely? Be mindful of it. If it does, stop it. Okay, and we got 2 more engines to crank up the same way. Try to do them a little more like they're supposed to. Okay, 3 just stabilized. Here comes number 1. Up arrow, make sure you get the light. Number 1 is cranking up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and crank up number 2. If she doesn't stop here soon, I'm going to make her.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Like I said, sometimes it gets really screwy.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Sometimes it nails it on this plane, and a lot of times it doesn't. So always, pay attention, and if it looks like, as I've watched it take me so far out of where I push back, it's ridiculous. At least I got us just past, we're out of FedEx. We're actually starting to get into UPS's territory. All right, engines are up and running. Okay, head back up here. Windshield. Defog on.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
And thanks for flying with Mike. Okay, and checking our EAD, which is these down here. Let's also let her tell us she's got our pins. Cool. All right, continuing real quick, APU off. Right here, folks. Check it prior to the runway. Hydraulic panel is good. Ground equipment clear. Config. Let's go down here. All right, so let's click okay, nothing lit up. Okay, Defender, we'll get that when the brakes lift. Miscellaneous. Again, Defender. Fig. Alright, this is the page we want to be on now, because what we're going to be checking in a minute is our surfaces. And this is the good page for trim data 4.1. So we'll get that staved to 4.1. This should match this. All right, takeoff data confirm. 146, 146, 163, 166. As your speed goes up, you'll come to those. And flaps. All right, folks. We're going to go to dial a flap. You heard me. 1-800 dial a flap. All right, basically from like flaps 10 to like 30, I think it is, 25, you can actually dial in what you want. And that comes from your takeoff, and we were flaps 15. So when I call flaps 2, if you will, it's going to go to 15. Okay, it says slats are down, flaps are going to 15, and you can see, there they are, 15 and 15. Okay, it's kind of funny. I have fun with it all the time. Never had to dial my flap setting. It's always by the lever and dial. This is kind of weird. Okay, finally, let's do our control surfaces. Again, kind of weird, but, you know, to each their own. Each airplane has their own diagrams. Okay. All right, and stave trim is set 4.1, 4.1, and auto brake set for takeoff, or in this case, reject takeoff, and confirm takeoff data one more time. Okay. V1 146. Rotate 163, 166. Good. And let's get some lights. folks, give me 1 second as I try to confirm something with my wife. Stand by. All right, folks, just wanted to make sure it wasn't trash night. All right, we're ready to go. Taxi light on taxi. Emergency light set. We're ready to go. Here we go. Almost. Yes, second. Almost forgot to start anchors. Okay, now we're good to go. And it does seem to take a little bit of power to get this thing to move. All right, we'll start before takeoff check. Again, keep our data checked. It looks good. Auto flight turn on here once we see the runway in sight. And we'll pull the spoiler handle up. We'll show you. It's one question I've gotten a lot of early on with this plane. And it actually took me a while to figure it out, so love sharing. You can see we got a bit of a slope to get up to the runway. And the de-icing area, folks, is right here. But all right, we're heading out to the runway. And again, my apologies for taking over an hour and a half to get it going. Hope to make up for it in flight so we can get there and get landed. So, but again, see when we get to those questions how we can help out our aviator, and answer some questions he had, because I really could not visualize or know them right off the top of my head. All right, we're going to come up here and hit the hold line. All right, spoilers. Okay, you know, this right here will move the spoilers down the track. We just need to pull them up. So get the hand and pull them up or down. That is armed, disarmed. And you won't get that message anymore. Okay. State trim set, auto brake set, auto flight. Let's click it once. We may need to do it again on takeoff. EAD's good. Hydraulic panel, air panel, cabin, radar, and transponder as required. We're ready to go. Denver traffic, FedEx 522 departing 35 left. All right, so for takeoff, folks, we're going to bring the engines up, and then it should take it from there, but if not, we'll push them forward. All right, landing lights on. Okay, strobes are on, everything's set. Here we go. %. Stabilize, brakes off. Okay, 80 knots, airspeed's alive. Positive rate, gear up. And folks, this thing does have a nose-high climb. Alright, we're through 10,000. So far, so good. Well, maybe. Alright folks, sorry I got a little quiet there. Let's do our after takeoffs. Okay, spoilers, we need to disarm. Okay, so again, remember, the hand. Push them straight down. Turn these back to off. Flaps, slats are up, and you can verify this, folks, two ways. One, right here on the configuration page, which I'm going to change. Two, you would see the indication of what you had here and on the pilot side. As I said, we're going to change this to there. Okay, so it looks like we just crossed transition. We're now standard, and we're on our way. As we head over the Rockies. Oh, looks like center went down. Well, I want to get outside approach. Actually, we'll go ahead and come online. I think we'll be safe. Just want to... Actually, no, we won't. Fresno and them is up, so we'll just be okay with where we are. And sorry, folks, for not being on VATSIM. You know what? Let me try something here again. Actually, I need to do more testing before. That was to bring Discord on. I want to bring Discord on more often now, but I want to make sure the sound level, so I don't have to go into each person and set you at a level. I want to be able to just set the input from Discord at a certain level and it's quiet. Working on that. And if you all know how and where to find that, to set the Discord coming over, I would sure love to know. instead of having to go in and set each individual microphone down. All right, folks, we are on our way. Like I said, we're going to be remaining offline from VATSIM for this flight. Oh, I'm trying to figure out, what did I not do on this page that I just pulled up? Okay, there we go. So, all right, so we're on our way. Let's get some music rolling here. And hope you all have a great evening here with us at Flying with Mike. Thanks for taking the last bit of your Thanksgiving holidays, spending it with us. We sure appreciate you, and we'll hope to do our best on the landing. And then I'm going to get into right now making sure I have the questions, understanding the questions, so I can then actually I will bring Discord up just so in case he is listening, he can help me out. Briefing. Just a second here, folks, while I work some things out. Okay, I'm going to make sure we level off here. All right, got the overspeed taken care of. All right, and we are in the lobby. You're more than welcome to chime in, folks, especially anyone with questions on the plane. We have it in front of us. We'll do our best to answer the questions. Okay, folks, I think that's going to be the best we're going to do. All right, we'll have to reset when we switch aircraft. So, all right, so here's some of the questions, and folks, if you know the answers, help me out, because to be honest, he got pretty good here. These are some good questions. So, and I may need help. So he just picked up the MD11, and again, this is Ant Aviation. Not trying to call you out, sir. I just know you ask me a lot of questions, so I want the folks to understand where you're coming from, because I know the marks for the Airbus, the Boeing. Didn't know it was a half moon, but oh, it's a moon. Okay, got it. So basically, what he's trying to figure out is I'm not sure if he's talking about what line he's talking about here. Turn this down just a notch. There we go. So okay, so when we get into the descent, we'll kind of see it. I'm already at 32. We'll try to do an intermediate descent here shortly and do this. So this is actually good. We're not on FMs. Now, and if ATC instructs me to slow to 250, I have not managed to do that. Okay, that one we're going to have to show it. I don't think I'll be able to explain it. It is quite the complicated bear. But we'll put that on managed right now. And currently en route with an hour and 20 minutes to get there. So we'll get to your questions as we get to them on the flight there, Ant Aviation. I did point out where the tutorials were, but I know the tutorials don't go that deep. So we're going to find out for ourselves here. Normally, I would increase my range. Actually, I am until we get close. All right, so we can see our upcoming fixes. And down here, we'll be flip-flopping what we have for VORs. All right, so sit back, relax, folks. We got about an hour. We're going to brief and make sure everything is set up for the arrival to runway 29. We are going to have to do the procedure turn to come in. Unless, of course, we see the runway, and then I just may take over the whole kit and caboodle, because if I don't and end up where I click on the wrong screen, my reverse thrust isn't there, and oh, is it trying to stop this plane a bear? So yeah, we'll see what we can do, but don't worry, Ant Aviation, I haven't forgot you. We're going to try to go through this and see what we can find out to answer both your questions there. Where is the marking, or I'm sorry, is the marking on the nav display? Be honest, I'm not 100% sure on that one right now. I know right now we're 533 miles from top of descent. So, and then we are looking good on fuel and all of that. So, so that's how I know from now. Top of descent in 500 miles. Okay, so we will... I'm going to do this my normal way. I am getting really screwed up here. Hang on a second. Okay, so 28 or higher. Okay, we're going to figure up our top of descent on our own. I'll give you that point in a minute. We'll be watching for it. All right, okay, our top of descent should be after Coaldale. Probably about 20 miles or so. That's where this number should be and should show up here. So I just did the calculations. I'm planning about 90 miles to 100 miles out, getting down to about 3,000 feet, execute our procedure turn to come inbound on the ILS. All right, folks, so I am going to sit back, let you all enjoy the music. We've got just about, we'll call it about 20 minutes. We'll get into the proper arrival brief as best as this private pilot can do, and we'll go from there. So enjoy the music. All right, folks, we have about an hour or so to go. And we're just getting through the Rockies here into headed towards Coaldale. Should be just after Coaldale, not far after, we'll start our descent into Fresno. So hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you're very thankful for everything you have. A lot of uneasiness in the world, I know, but ultimately we can lay our thanks for the grace that God has given us uh, in our lives and to our families. So, do have something to be thankful for. But anyway, as we cruise on here, I also want to say thank you for taking some of your Sunday night out to be with us. I know there's a lot of things going on, both in the world of Twitch and YouTube, as well as in the, as I will call it, the real world. And thank you for giving us some of that precious time of yours. And tell your friends we're out here. We'd love to grow and include them in the family here. So, all right. So we are right now currently. Bear with me as we're looking towards Maynard and then Trollope. Just getting an idea how far out we are from there. No, we're not too far. We got a few more fixes to go past, but we'll start talking. Let's go ahead and start in on the arrival brief, because there is a lot of meat and potatoes to this one. Even though it looks kind of easy, folks, it's, well, anytime I fly this plane, even though I keep harping, it's more like an Airbus than you think or want to think. It truly is. Hang on a second. Oh, hang on a second. Got an email. All right. Okay, so for the arrival brief, let's just use the simplest one, charts. And we'll use TopCat. And again, all I'm using TopCat for, folks, and that's takeoff performance and landing calculator. So, is to verify what the McDo here in the plane comes up with and see how close we are. And I can also get distances and stuff like that. A lot of stuff you'd get off those EFBs that come with the planes. Someone has told me if I update this, I will get that. I really wish I knew how to update this. I can't find an updater or what. So that's okay. We're plenty good right now. Of course, that update will probably take most of my gripes away. I get it. Just kidding. It does happen though from time to time. All right, so let's hold off for about a minute here. We'll get those followers back here, and we'll get into the arrival brief. All right, welcome back, everyone. Oh, what's going on with, hang on, my computer is wanting to mess around here, of course. Anyway, it'll do whatever it does. All right, welcome back, followers. We appreciate you. If you're tired of ads, and I only try to keep them to 1 minute about every 20 minutes. If you're tired of them, it's your call. I'm not going to sit here and force it down your throat saying the only way you can be a part of this stream is this. No, it's your call. A lot of money goes out this time of the year, and I don't want to add stress that's already stressing a lot of people out there. And but if you don't want those ads, the only way I know of with Twitch is to subscribe to your channels. Otherwise, you're just gonna, in my case, you're gonna put up with them for about a minute. Others I know put 3 to 4 minutes in, but it's so that we're helping Twitch out as well, since they've made us affiliates, or well, we'd really like to be as a partner, but I right now don't know what being a partner would look like in Twitch. So I don't want to overstress myself. Sometimes being an affiliate really stresses me out. So, so I just want to let you know that is how you would get around it. Enough of that, enough side talk here. Let's get into this brief, shall we? Okay, we're getting ready to come into Fresno. Charts is back up. Shows you where we are. We just crossed Mandred, Trollop, Gidget, and so forth as we work our way towards Coaldale. Coaldale VOR is the start for a couple of cities, San Francisco, Oakland, and now I just found out Fresno. So, but it's not part of, there is no STAR, standard terminal arrival routing, out of Coaldale for here. But it is where we're going to use for our mileage to start our top of descent. And I'm guessing it about 20 miles into it. I'm sorry, 30 miles. Anyway, hopefully we'll have a marker on here to let us know. I'm also tracking it on Sim Toolkit, where it is, and it does look like about 20-30 miles off Coaldale. We'll start down, and we're going to be heading down to around 3,000 feet. We'll get into what we'll do, but we're going to head down to around 3,000 feet. All right. Let's get into this. All right, so the only arrival information, like I said, is where we'll start our top of descent. We will, as you can see, track Trollop, Gidget, Carols, Cats, Brumps, Coaldale, OAL. And then right about here is where our top of descent will be as we head down here to Fraylet, and then down into what our ILS approaches will show us. Okay, that's the descent portion. Again, it starts right about in here with Coaldale, after Coaldale. All right, let's do it. The ILS Yankee is what we're going to be flying. Zulu is for the military that operate out of Fresno. All right, let's do this in our normal 3 parts, because there are a few people that do tune in from time to time who are actually training, and I like to, what little I know about these charts, try to help that maybe reinforce, and I really hope not give them wrong information. All right, so our ATIS, approach, tower, ground. Hang on a second, folks, if you don't mind. Music is going to be paused. That way I'm not getting distracted by that beat. So from Friant, VOR, it's about 18 miles to Zumex, 18 miles. Oh, I'm sorry. 8 miles on to Sango. At Sango, we'll talk about that. But anyway, so that's the gist here. So Fresno Tower ground. Localizer for this approach is 111.3. Bear with me a second. Okay, good. It's like Airbus and Boeing in this case, where it automatically sets it. Not like the 737, but other aircraft. Okay, so 111.3 will verify. Front course, the approach course will be, or final approach course is 292. And like I said, we're going to be way back here on it. We'll get to what way back here means in a minute. Okay, story. You can see it here. It's 6 miles from the localizer. We got to be at 1800 on the glide slope. That's 1,467 feet above the ground. So that'll help give you a clue. We just went from a mile high to down to around the sea level in our topography that we're flying over. A decision, altitude, and height. All right. The bold, think of that as above sea level. I'm using the word above for a really distinct purpose here. Above sea level, otherwise known to what you all would understand, mean sea level. That's what the tape here runs on. Not sure if you can see out the tape right here. Okay. Now, the next number you see, the one in brackets or parentheses, 200, that is above ground level, AGL. Now you see why I purposely use that word above sea level. Folks, it is the exact same point in the sky. It's just where are you measuring it from, sea level or ground? In some airports, very drastic. For instance, El Alto, Bolivia, it's the highest commercial airport in the world at 13,000 feet MSL or above sea level. But your METARs, your parentheses, are actually above the ground. So you're still talking about that imaginary dot in the sky, but it's the same level. So I want you to kind of keep that pictured in your mind too here. So that will be where if we see the runway, we continue. If we don't, we go around. And then our airport elevations, 336 along with the touchdown zone, 3 feet lower. So you can tell there is a little grade there, but not much. Missed approach right here, 800 feet, right turn to 5,500 feet on that heading to the VOR. And then from there, we'll take the radial 222, 8 miles to Nvidia and hold. And if need be, climb and hold. But we climb to 5,500 feet. Here's your requirements. And of course, 18,000 feet's transition level. All right, so let's get down here to the nitty gritty. All right, again, Friant VOR. Just so you're all aware, getting the call for that. Okay, that is Box Romeo Alpha 115.6. Of course, it's probably on. No, it isn't. I'm kind of shocked. Okay, usually it is actually on charts, but this time it isn't. So anyway, we're going to track on the 155 outbound radial, 18 miles to Zumik, continuing on to Sango. Minimum descent altitude is 4,700 and 3,000. Spotty high terrain out here that we're working around, actually staying in front of. Okay, and then it's Sango. That is distance 12 miles off the localizer for Fresno. We'll go continue that, and then we'll do our procedure turn 1 minute, and then come back inbound on the localizer ILS 429. That's my game plan. Again, Sango 28 feet after we do the hold, or procedure turn. And then at Sango, we'll descend down to 1,800 feet, which will be its story, 6 miles, glide slope, and then we'll come in on the glide slope. And again, if we have to go missed approach, we go to make a right turn at 800 feet, climbing right-hand turn on a 330 course, inbound to Fryett VOR to Nvidia and hold. All right, this right here will tell us what speed we determine our ground speed at. Will determine what if we don't have the glide slope. Say for some reason we're just not getting it. Well, if we maintain that feet per minute descent, we'll be on that 3% or 3-degree glide slope to the runway, which is what the ILS is geared for. And that happens from time to time. So it's just a nice gauge for us to know that from missed approach to 1.7 miles from IFAT, this is probably where we'll be, but we'll find out here shortly. We're going to get to that in the next slide here. Okay, ALSIF 2, we got a full load of lights plus a good alignment bar here. Happy's on the left. There's our missed approach again. The last part of this chart here are your minimums. So if you're sitting on the ground in Denver and current conditions say ceiling 100 or broken 1015, visibility quarter mile, and they may have an RVR at that point, but a quarter mile. You can only depart Denver legally if at the time you arrive it is forecasted to be above minimums. If not, you sit on the ground and it becomes a delay. Because you can't fly if it's not forecasted to get better. Otherwise, you might as well just fly to LA. Because you're going to divert, folks. But if the TAFs are saying it's going to improve by your landing time, airborne you go. Okay, so again, we got to have 200 AGL and a half-mile visibility. The RVR has to be 18 or higher. Now, caveat. I know you're going, my gosh, there's so many caveats. There are. If these are below. Now, if Fresno has capability of Cat 2, Cat 3, well, you may be able to, and your aircraft is qualified and you are qualified. You could then pull up that chart and look at the minimums now down here. Everything else stays the same, folks. It's right here. We can go down now to an RVR 6. 12 if we're doing Cat 2. So if you're Cat 3 qualified ILS, you can take it down to a 6. If you're Cat 2, you can come down to 100 feet AGL for 12 on the RVR. And again, you can bring it down to 10 with OPSEC, MIPSEC, and Lowell and approvals. If you don't have those, you can't drop that number. Or if you're Cat 3 approved, can you do Cat 3? Again, that's if your plane is authorized and you are authorized. Just because it's there doesn't mean you can. Except in the flight sim. Okay? Real world guys, you didn't hear me just say that. You can't do that unless you're qualified. We in the flight sim can. So long as we have the, well, technically so long as we have these charts. But even if we don't, we can still go below them. But then you're not operating like the real guys. And some of you are very adamant about that. So, just wanted to point that out. You could then switch into this. And this aircraft for FedEx would be capable minimum of this, more than likely this. But again, it all depends. That flight crew, are they qualified? And of course, certain equipment and all has to be working on the airport to even think of flying this. So, and it basically becomes an auto land. You probably heard that term. That is what an auto land is used for. All right, so that takes care of the charting, folks. Currently, the weather in the Fresno area is showing calm winds, 10 miles of visibility, not a problem there. Scattered clouds at 12,000. Our ceiling is set at 15,000. 150 is 15,000. 1,500 would be 015. So as long as, I mean, these conditions are perfect. Like I said, we may just shoot the visual. Because if we come around and I see it, we just mind it, we might. So we'll see. And I may try for the ILS and get us down lower. So who knows? We'll see what happens when we get there. Eight minutes ago, by the way. That's really cool. I didn't even notice that for a while now. And then 3011, which I think is what we were pretty close in Denver. So there you have it, folks. Now, we talked about it. Let's go take a look for it now. All right, let's talk about Top Cat. Again, we just had this up for our departure, takeoff, and landing performance calculation tool. Okay, so we're going to now do the landing performance. We'll click the landing icon. Currently shooting 29 right, 9,500 foot runway, 292, and it's 150 feet in width. No slope. Cool. So we know it's dry. But let's update first. Okay, same METAR. So it's 12 degrees Celsius, 3011, but it does give you HEPA if you're used to that, folks. Runway's dry, and we're going to go flaps 35. Auto land. Only reason I do that is it gives the runway stuff, I think. There is a reason I set it, but it doesn't mean I'm shooting it. So compute. Again, same thing if there's MELs. You click them here. See, you got no reverse. No reverse, one wheel brake. See what I'm saying? That all affects what the distance is. Also, if you're landing on a runway, you know, that the landing distance is reduced. You can put that in here. So, all right. For this flight, we're looking at right now 157 knots. I'm going to double check that landing weight. Estimated landing weight 459,531. Okay, we'll go with that. So yeah, we'll fly the approach at 160 knots. So yeah, it's a little fast, it seems like, but we're going to need 8,000 feet of the runway. So we better be making sure everything comes on. So all right, so there you have it, folks. 157, we'll revisit this as we get closer. Okay, there's Rumps coming up. We're on a 160-mile circle here. So Holdale will be, and I will start reducing the range here soon. Probably around crits, we'll bring it down a little. All right, folks, I am going to go ahead and restart the music, and we don't have much further to go. I'm guessing about 20 minutes, and we will be into the descent. So if you'd like, I'm going to put one in, a prediction. Oops. A very hopeful guess, but we'll see. Sometimes I actually do make a good landing. But that's the format, folks. Exclamation mark, the word predict, and a negative number. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Say about 10-20 minutes we'll be ready for descent. All right, folks, we're back with you, and I am going to turn my mic down just a tad. Looks like there. It looks better. All right. If I get too weak, let me know. But anyway, we still got a few minutes. We'll start setting all this good stuff up here in a minute. But let's go back to that question. All right. Question was, I just picked up the MD11 from the Orc store, getting used to the differences from the 737 or an A320. The one big question this individual had, if during the descent you would like to see the mark, the PFD indicates where you will reach a certain flight level. Okay, let's see if it'll show us here shortly where the 3,000 or 2,800 foot mark will be, because that's what I'm going to set over here. I'm going to set it, the MCP here, probably Coaldale, and set it for 3,000 feet. I know why he's at. Now I understand the question. Reading it aloud again. Airbus, yes, puts a mark there like a hockey stick. And Boeing does put a mark there as well. But we'll see what we get here. I totally understand the question now. And I really don't know what the ND will look like. But we're going to find out together. And again, anyone new to this plane, I highly recommend, and I am double checking my words before speaking them. Okay. Once you purchase, install, register, do all of that good fun stuff, the MD11, go to your X-Plane 12 folder, look for aircraft. Once you open up the aircraft folder, look for the rotate MD11. Once you have that folder opened up, look for manual. In there will be system descriptions, limitation, and a checklist. I don't remember how good that checklist is. And then number 3 will be the tutorial flight. Right below all of that, of course, introduction and product installation, all of that, probably worth looking at as well. But in those 3 manuals or manuals within those folders, I'd take a look and get familiar with what your instrumentation, could look like and what some of the markings are on it. But the tutorial flight will help out. Fly it as much as you want. It's, I think, El Paso to Memphis. So it's like this flight from Denver to Fresno. Make sure you get enough time to go through all the phases. And then before you do like across the pond with it event, I would actually take it to Alaska or take it on an adventure like that where you may have a step climb in there and you can learn how to use all that. Because I need to learn that before I do it. All right, but that's where it's at. Again, X-Plane 12 main folder, click aircraft, the aircraft folder. It should be the first one. Rotate MD11 inside that folder. Inside the MD11 folder is manual. And then you'll see all of them there. And I would suggest flying them. And I would also suggest, clicked the wrong window, this checklist, and of course modify it, but it goes hand in hand with the tutorial. All right. So we are now, oh, let me kind of zoom in. I can't read. And folks, usually pilots are a lot closer to this stuff. And let me try something. First off, give you a nice look of the airplane again. This is generally what the pilots see, and generally on approach like that. You got to realize, folks, they don't sit back like they do on their Harley choppers, their handles, hands up 10 feet above their head, trying to steer the motorcycle. No, they're right up, right on their gauges so they can read everything and see everything. So, a lot of guys like to sit back and let you guys try. I can't figure out what you do because they don't want you to see what you did wrong. But I try to get in a little closer so you can see what is indeed going on. So we're 2 miles from Rumps. And then Coaldale. And that's when I'm going to set our 3,000. And hopefully we'll do this descent pretty decently. I hope. But I think Rotate has done a good job. There are some areas I think that are a little in need of help. And you know what? I updated it, probably will be just fine. But anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm trying not to, folks. It's like I said, there are some quirks, but get past them. It's a real easy plane to fly. It's a lot of people say it's so doggone complicated because they're trying to fly it because they think it's a Boeing aircraft. It's a McDonnell Douglas aircraft. McDonnell Douglas was bought out by Boeing. McDonnell Douglas aircraft mimic Airbus. This one a lot. That's why I call it the Airbus 11. Once you get that through that, get that through yourself, that it's, think Airbus. This airplane just starts falling into place. And you're like, oh my gosh, you do this, you do that, and voila. So, okay, let's get our performance in. Let's get on the checklist, because we are there. All right. Okay, we're crossing Rumps. All right, approach into 29 right at KFAT. Here's our speeds. Estimated landing with flaps 35. Oh, looks pretty close. Let me bring Top Cat in. Hang on. Just one more time. I told you we were going to do this right before top of descent. Okay. Let's do a quick update here on Top Cat. Weather is still the same. 35 anti-ice. I do have engine on, so we'll keep it on, even though we really don't need it now. Look at that approach speed, VAP 162V, rough 157. Folks, you can't 8,075 feet of runway. All right, folks. Welcome back from the ads, and yeah, so we can actually. All right, so we're set. I am going to go over here. We need to do the system. Okay. All looks good. All right. Okay, we're 30 miles from top of descent. Right, welcome in, folks. Glad for you to be a part of us this Saturday or Sunday Eve. Before y'all start heading back to work, thank you for taking some time to check us out, or just come back and see where we're at. We sure appreciate y'all here, and I hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving, and got your eyes set on the greatest day of the world, day of the year, Christmas. Day Jesus was born. Can't wait. My favorite. This is one of those where I really wish this would just last year round. So, but we got a great verse that came up from the website, hashtag verse of the day. It's there in the chat. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, saves the crushed in spirit, and how true that is. Folks, when you find yourself having rough days, rough times, you know, reading through the Psalms sometimes really is beneficial. Even the Proverbs, those two books, just all of a sudden you go, my gosh, King David went through this. King Solomon went through these things and come up with great insight and wisdom. So I always recommend Psalms. It's just such a great thing to turn to, and you will find one that just talks right to you all the time. So again, thanks for being a part of Flying with Mike today. We're about to start our top of descent here. Currently showing 14 miles. Is that correct? Yep. Call it 10 miles now. And what I look for in my calculations, folks, for top of descent, I'm looking for about a 2,000 to 2,300 feet a minute drop. This thing's gonna wobble big time. So sometimes I will actually set it, and make it go down. So we kind of watch it. It climbed out on course just fabulously. So hopefully this loose nut gets it right. All right, let's do it. Top of descent. And he hit the wrong way. Down we go. About one of the only Boeing things you'll notice is right here, folks. Your vertical deviation gauge, letting you know how you're doing in relation to the projected descent course. That is right here. And Airbus guys are going, wait a minute, where's the green dot? Yeah. So that's probably the only thing that the Boeing guys can go, that's ours. Except it's usually a lot smaller. But 737 guys, you don't see your glide slope right here. I'll be actually honest, I'm not sure if you see it there or not on approach. We'll find out. All right, and we are starting down. We're looking for any kind of indication where we're going to reach 3,000. Tell you right now, I'm a little nervous. We're really coming down at a rather slow rate. Okay, to answer your question, that is where we're projected to hit 3,000 feet, which actually is about right. And in case he was not able to join us today, all right. Okay, we actually made this a good training flight for even the loose nut behind the wheel. All right, so you can see right here, there's that little hole that we're going to enter to get ourselves turned in the right, it's called a procedure turn, to get us going in the right direction on the ILS. Right there, we're forecasting 3,000 feet a minute, or 3,000 feet. So we'll kind of watch the plane at FAT if we're, I'm sorry, FAI, what is this one? FRA. At this point, we should be in the teens, pushing down. But there you go, folks. Answered gentleman or individual's question. All right, we're getting in through some clouds. Glad we left the anti-ice on as we push through. And one thing with all the sims, now I know there's an MD11 over in the other one finally. Realize, folks, both of them do simulate icing now at different variations. So be careful. I was planning a flight to go test it, but this seemed more important to answer this question. And a simple flight is the easiest way usually to do it, because you can just show it to people. Because if that individual is having the question, maybe a lot of you are having it. I think even I was. So it was great. We all got to learn a little more about the Rotate MD11. So again, hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did, even though I pulled a lot of time at work. Not complaining to those who may be listening from work, but I'm glad to be home taking some time off, if it be only for 48 hours. You know what? Just because I know how cold it could be outside, gonna go ahead and turn it all on just to be safe. But once we get to where it feels more comfortable, then we'll go from there. Okay, now it's changed. If that is on the ILS, well, we still got a hold to do. We're actually, yeah. Okay, that's what I was looking for, to make sure the carrot went down. Just like you saw over here, we're setting it up for a steeper descent. Go ahead and see if that helps. One other thing, this right here, I mean, I get it. See if that'll do it. Okay, I am in now what's called an open descent, trying to slow the beastie down. Okay, there's 18. Just gonna set it to my last reading and double check. Still 30, 11, 47 minutes old. Okay. Okay, so now we're set to 240. I'm just going to let her slow all the way down. Let's go ahead and decrease. Still don't like that it's way out there. Yeah, we're going to be in a hold here for a bit. See how it does the hold. Yeah, we're going to have to do a couple. All right, we're going to go around one more time in the racetrack here. All right, we're gonna get wings level, do 1 minute outbound, then we'll turn inbound, folks. And that last racetrack was so we could get into the right configuration for the approach. All right. Okay, here we go on the approach. Okay, prepare for landing. DHM is all set. Actually, we could set it down. Okay, we're just about inbound. Currently 11 miles from the localizer. Should be seeing the glide slope come down here shortly. We'll slow to 180. I use level flight as much as possible, folks, for my speed sets. So easy for the plane to slow. And if it's not going to, gear always helps too, and another level of flaps. Okay, I've got a runway. Okay, the approach set. Okay, getting way low. Hang on, let's bring in some power. All right, welcome to Fresno, folks. Frame rates look like they took a pretty good hit there as we came in for approach. Okay, we'll exit to the right here. And regroup, figure out exactly on the airfield where we are, where we need to go. All right. Okay, so we got off at Charlie, so what we're looking at there is the National Guard. All right, so real quick here, let's get the lights. Alright, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and kill that music. I should have done it as we were in the hold, and I kind of was just paying too much attention to everything else. Alright, let's do our checks here. We got the safety done after landing, spoilers, flaps, radar, auto brake off. Okay, lights are off, altimeters are set. Wait, that's before landing. Anti-ice, that's up here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and of course the APU. All right, folks. Mr. Rendon, welcome aboard. Didn't catch you there quick enough, but thank you for being a part. Hope you enjoyed the part you got to see, the landing. Ooh, they got F4s guarding us. Wow. I hope they weren't alert F4s and have to fit in those shacks, because I don't think they will. Got a second or two here. Yeah, we're right. 36, so that's good. We'll go on up to the middle one. All right. And set the brakes. All right, brakes are set. Right, after landing, fuel switches, transponder. Well, we're going to check a couple things up here. APU's available. Going to the air, on. And all right, 3, 1, and all right. And transponder seatbelts. Okay, so I can get number 2 if I'm ready. Okay, number 2 off. All right, seatbelts, exterior lights. Emergency power will keep, and there you go, folks. Welcome, like I said, to Fresno. Okay, before we do any of the reversing, let's stop. Okay, landed at 156. That's actually right on target. They had us at 580. Well, okay, we'll take it. I mean, what are you going to do? Argue it? No. Maybe. Okay, that's FedEx. Okay, we'll get rid of that. All right, and Twitch shows us, that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at that now, shall we? All right, Sim Toolkit. All right, 399. And it's been logged, so that's cool. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, we flew 2 hours, 19 minutes, 730 miles. And burned 15,700 kilos of fuel. Landed with 2 G's of force. That didn't feel that way, but we'll see it hopefully in replay. If not, it'll be what it'll be. And 399 at 100. They got us at 159. All right in the ballpark of our VREF. All right, let's see where we actually touched down, because we did get kind of high on the approach. Oh. We did really good, folks. 74 feet past the threshold line. Yeah, we were set up for 2.9 left. Oh, well. All right. So this is kind of squirrely. All right, so 399 and 2 Gs. So, it's not a bad landing, folks, overall, when you think about it. So, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, and one last thing to look at just so you can see it, Top Cat. You can see our VREF there. Expected 157, and we did 159, 162. So I was actually running slow on the approach. There's part of my problem. Okay. I'm kind of glad we did pull this up. All right. So there you have it, folks. Great flight. We had a blast. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a couple things here and hop back up in here, and we'll see if we can't take her back in time. Well, not so much. Uh-oh. Okay, not sure what went on there. Guess we're not going to be able to. All right. Wasn't expecting that. Oh. All right, so it's going to crash. Hang on a second here, folks. All right, well, that is just not gonna work for us today. Get that off here. And we'll go ahead and clear up here. hopefully. All right. Well, we haven't had that in a while. So, well, we'll just kind of call it here, folks. Wish we could have taken it to the next level and saw the replay of the approach, but that is still dicey. And, most of the aircraft work, this one is one of those that, well, it is sometimes what it is. So, but I want to say thank you again for taking time out to be a part of Flying with Mike. Dave Rendon, thanks for dropping in. Hope you enjoyed the landing. Folks, if you head over to our YouTube channel, um, you'll be able to watch the landing over and over and over again. Unfortunately, not from different angles, just from the cockpit. But I hope we learned a lot here. Thank you so much for being a part of Flying with Mike. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and look forward to tomorrow's flight, which will be, if you haven't checked Discord, will be from Telluride, Colorado to Lake Charles, Louisiana. And we're going to fly an airplane, another one we haven't flown a lot of, the Citation 10. So again, hope you all have a great day, great night, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We hope to kick off around, doing the quick math in my head, 1600 Zulu Universal Time, GMT, however you discern that time, 10 o'clock Central. Again, that 1600 Zulu, 10 o'clock Central is our tentative kickoff time, but no later than 11 o'clock Central. So within that hour, we will kick it off. So, and again, it'll be the Citation from Telluride, Colorado, down to Lake Charles. So for folks, thank you again so much for being a part of Flying with Mike. God bless you all. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Be safe, and we'll see you then.
Greetings. Hey, matey duck.